I got you into a Remington party. What's my thanks? It's on the hallway carpet. I got paid in puke. Lick it up, baby. I got paid in puke.
Your Heather's podcast is like something I want to put in my coffin. Keep me happy in the afterlife.
Welcome to Paid in Puke, a podcast where three women with names discuss movies about something other than a man. Paid in Puke is hosted by Annie Malone, Christina Barr, and Jessica Baxter. It's also a spoiler-filled free-for-all. You've been warned. On this episode of Paid in Puke, we're sinking our claws into Tim Burton's 1992 comic book sequel, Batman Returns, starring Michelle Pfeiffer, and nobody else. Why are we doing a Batman movie on a feminist podcast? Well, number one, this is really a Catwoman movie. And number two, the screenplay is primarily attributed to a guy who wrote a little movie we like to call Heathers. His name is Daniel Waters. And I'm Jessica Baxter.
I'm Christina Barr.
I'm Annie Malone.
And joining us to plumb the depths of this sexy hot mess is the Daniel Waters.
Oh my God. I'm so honored.
We are beyond honored to have you on this podcast. You are definitely our first cis male guest, and you may be the only cis male guest we ever have.
Oh my.
You earned yourself
the Jackie Robinson of cis-male Breaking barriers, I love it.
You went right through that glass ceiling.
Our love is God. Let's go get a slushie.
Is it alright if we start with some Heather's questions?
Absolutely. It's the one thing I can answer.
It's your turn, Heather.
No, Heather, it's Heather's turn. Heather. Sorry, Heather.
So Heather's obviously influenced a million movies that came after it, but what influenced Heather's?
Yes, I got polite thank yous, but no money. Joss Whedon, Kevin Williamson, the guy who created Desperate Housewives, they all give me warm hugs without giving me any of their money.
I think Joss Whedon in particular owes you some reparations.
Oh, his hug was a little unpleasant.
So what influenced Heather's?
I have to take you back to a time that you may vaguely remember. There used to be a time where the only teen films were John Hughes teen films, which I like, which I enjoy. I get pleasure out of them. Definitely a lot of hot proms and John Hughes comedies. But it's all there was for the teen genre. So it was almost like, it's funny. I think I would have been satisfied being a film critic since I see every movie that comes out. But it was like, wait, is the only way we're going to get a different kind of teen film is if I write it? That's the belief I had. So I'm a big believer in naivete. So I thought, I'm going to write the great teen film. My high school was kind of dazed and confused. It was a little laid back. It was not as harsh as my younger sister. Claims to be a Veronica. Everybody claims to be a Veronica. They're all Heathers. Every Heather claims they were the Veronica. I don't believe them.
We can't all be Veronica.
My sister was an excellent forager. I could get some good stuff from her, and I thought, okay, I can do this. There's a director I love, Stanley Kubrick. I don't know if you're aware of him, but he makes like the greatest films of every genre, like the greatest science fiction film, 2001. Arguably the greatest horror film, The Shining, the greatest war film, Full Metal Jacket. But I thought, if I just finished the script, he couldn't direct my teen film because he wants to make the greatest teen film. So I had very lofty ideals working in a video store in Neckham Park. So it just came from that. And I knew if I was going to do a high school movie, it had to take place with women, deep in the power structure. I didn't want to do a movie about an outcast. And when it comes to high school and pretty much the rest of life, women are chess and boys are checkers. So it's much more interesting if you come in that way.
Does it not bother you that everybody in this school thinks that you're a piranha? Like I give a shit. They all want me as a friend or a fuck. I'm worshipped at Westerberg, and I'm only a junior.
I'm certainly not an unblemished feminist. It's some hot problems you could dig up if you looked hard enough. But I always thought a female protagonist, and even Catwoman, making Catwoman the focus of Batman Returns, I crave originality. That's what it comes to. That's why I wanted to do Heathers. I wanted to do an original teen film. And if you make your protagonist female, you're already starting on second base as far as originality is concerned. Everything skews differently.
That's very true.
So you write Heathers and then it's made. What in that movie is the most how you pictured it when you were writing it? And what's the most different from how you imagined it when you were writing it? You know what I mean?
Definitely what was working for me was the satire of the jock's funeral. I mean, couldn't get a better line delivery than "I love my dead gay son."
My son's a homosexual, and I love him. I love my dead gay son.
I'm a very slow writer. Like, people think, how do you come up with these lines? Because other writers' writer's block is a good day for me. Like, I came up with a sentence today. I killed it. So it was a painstaking process. Anytime you write that dialogue, you're always in fear that they're not going to deliver it naturally, that it's going to come up too arch and too painful, which for a lot of people it is. I love, and I think you guys do too, that at least 35% of people watch Heathers hate it. And that makes the other 65% love it even more. And I always think it's good. If everybody's having a good time, where's the fun in that? That's always been my philosophy. But one thing that was better in the movie than the script was the character of Veronica. And Veronica was a little more dark, a little more aware of what she was doing. And Winona just brought such emotion to it and such just inherent likability that I end up not softening it, but just making it an actual person. And like I said, I'm giving you unsatisfying answers of how I came up with that, is because it is all in the head. I mean, I'm going to change the teen genre, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this. But I needed Winona and the other actors to actually, wait, these are about real high school people. And by making it more real, putting some flesh and blood in the game, makes everything better. Makes the satire richer.
Mm-hmm. Oh my God. I can't believe it. I just killed my best friend.
And your worst enemy.
Same difference.
What are we gonna tell the cops? Fucking if she can't take a joke, Sarge?
Oh, God. I can't believe this is my life. Oh my God. I'm gonna have to send my SAT scores to San Quentin instead of Stanford.
Yeah, absolutely. I've definitely seen movies where the screenplay isn't that good, but the actors elevate it, and vice versa, where you can tell it's a good screenplay, but they've ruined it with the casting.
Yeah, we dodged some bullets. You guys are crazy though. I keep calling you guys, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Yeah, Jim Carrey. Jim Carrey almost had the role. Where was that? I don't think
That's not true.
Oh, that's not true.
One story is that we had a reading of the script, and we had a friend of ours bring somebody from their acting class to read JD. And he kind of had a couple pimples, and he was a little laconic, and he was a little slowly paced, but he was fun. He was great. At the end of the read-through, he goes, "Hey, man, I know I'm not anybody, but for what it's worth, that was brilliant." And so for some reason, me and my brother, we took that line upon ourselves, like when we see a movie. "Hey, man, I know I'm not anybody, for what it's worth, that was brilliant." Cut to, I write another script, satire of modeling, which tragically never got made. And director Pettis is going to direct it. We should have done this instead of Out the Knock, but that's another story. But we had to meet with Brad Pitt. And, "Brad, it's great to meet you." And Brad's like, "Meet you? Don't you remember me, guys? I was in the reading of Heathers." So it's like, oh my God, Brad Pitt was the, I'm knowing not anybody, but what it's worth, a brilliant guy.
Oh my God.
So you said that he tried out for the role. He never actually tried out for the role, but he came in for that reading, and he did fine without us.
Wow.
I guess so. Although I cannot picture him. I mean, did you think that he was brilliant when he read it?
No.
Yeah, I can't picture it.
Where's your Jack Nicholson impression? I don't get it.
Right, exactly.
Since we can't de-age Jack Nicholson yet, we have to get a perfect proxy.
One thing that I wanted to ask was about, well, you were saying the genre was mainly John Hughes movies, and one thing that I really love so much about Heathers is portraying teenage life in this, like, it's satire, but also like a lot of the personalities are these archetypes that exist outside of high school and beyond high school as you go through life, and even like with the teachers and like the politics.
Now, is this Heather the cheerleader?
That would be Heather McNamara.
Damn. I'd be willing to go half a day for a cheerleader.
I just loved the authenticity of school faculty in high school. I thought it was so perfect, and the parents and all of that. And I wondered how you approached writing that.
Well, there's a French term that I can't remember the French. It's something l'escalier, but it translates to the wit on the staircase. Like when you're at a party and you're talking to someone and you want to impress them and then you just can't come up with the right words, then going down the stairs after the party comes the perfect thing you should have said to them.
Yeah.
It was the first script I ever wrote, and I was obsessed with making sure everybody always had the perfect line, which is many times not great writing. Like I still get nobody talks like that, but I try to get a higher truth. So everybody, even the teachers, is like, how can I heighten this reality to make it still reality, but something dark and fun? Like some people try to be realistic documentary approach to high school. Like I'm not interested in that. Let's go something silly and disconnected from high school. With science fiction, we have a time travel machine. I didn't want to do that. But there's a third element where you contrast the reality with the weird. Like when they're expecting reality, you give them weird. When they're expecting weird, you give them the reality. So it's like, is this real? You're in my world. That was the goal. Even the cops are, every profession is silly written. I mean, unfortunately, I think I was a bad influence. It seemed like every film after that was a little smarter and a little funnier than maybe they'd be in real life. But it's entertaining, I guess.
And it becomes meta too, because I remember that me and my friends would quote Heathers in high school, so it kind of becomes part of the vernacular.
Right. Now it is how teenagers talk as they watch Heathers.
I'm glad I'm improving conversation in real life. creating better conversation. That's the thing I love about Heathers, is that there's people who don't get it and don't like it. And that means the people who do, they bond together and they find their people even faster. Like I know people who go to a new school and they heard somebody quoting Heathers and suddenly they're friends for life, which is great. If I can tell my favorite story in this regard.
Please.
Somebody came up to me after the screening, a guy and a gal, and they talked about they were on a double date with different boyfriend, different girlfriend. They all Heathers together on a double date. Her boyfriend and his girlfriend hated the movie. They just started talking about how much they hated the movie. And then they just looked at each other. It was like they almost broke up right then, and they started going out 2 days later. I don't want to win an Oscar. I just want to create new couples.
Yeah. You can't date someone that doesn't like Heathers.
Right. You know you created a good movie if you're ending bad relationships and creating better ones.
You're practically a god.
I just had it on again today in the background, and something you were saying earlier about Veronica. So when they have that argument after they kill Kurt and Ram.
I'm such an idiot.
Look, you believed it because you wanted to believe it. Your true feelings were too gross and icky for you to face.
I did not want them dead.
You did too.
I did not.
What do you think? Do you think she knew they were really killing them?
Yeah, you guys talked about that. And I was like, oh boy, they're going to bring this up. I mean, Ich Luga bullets is not my finest piece of writing.
It's pretty funny, though.
Yeah, I think somewhere she knows.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, love Michael Lehman, great guy, good friend. I hate that scene because they run around the woods for a half hour. What are they doing? It's supposed to be just really quick, because you guys were talking about when she shoots them. It seems like, okay, so she's pretty much figuring out these bullets are not what they're cracked up to be. And then she shoots them anyway.
Right.
And the script is much tighter. He runs around one tree and then she reflects and shoots him. So your mind's not let to linger on what she's really going through. But I think everything he says is right, that you believed it because you wanted to believe it.
Yeah, I think so too. I was interested too, because earlier when they're writing the suicide note and talking about Marriott, and he kind of won that argument of where does a badge for her failures at school?
Yeah.
That's good, but Heather would never use the word myriad.
This is the last thing she'll ever write. She's gonna want to cash in on as many 50-cent words as possible.
Yeah, but she missed myriad on the vocab test 2 weeks ago.
That only proves my point more. The word is a badge for her failures at school.
Oh.
I hate how right he is. I have to remind myself he's bad because he's so charming and smart.
God, I know.
Yeah, you don't want to make him all psycho all the time.
Mm-hmm.
It's got to have some game.
I mean, it was just perfect casting because that is just exactly who Christian Slater was. Like the cute, sort of dangerous guy. I mean, I don't know if that's what he was in real life, but that's the guy that he played at the time, and that was what he's known for.
Yeah, I may have been swayed a little bit by critics saying he did too much Jack Nicholson. but seeing the film years later, I'm like, no, he's why the movie works. It's like he's great. And who cares about Jack Nicholson? When we were in the editing room, his Jack Nicholson impression was more intense, and we thought we'd cut it out by the time the movie came out. Like, oh, guess we didn't get that one. Nip that one in the bud.
I feel like it works because I bet that JD loves Kubrick and probably is a fan of Kubrick's directing methods.
No, it was kind of the pre-CGI days, but we could have CGI'd a host of The Shining in his bedroom when he's, are you ready for dinner, Dad? When he's making the dynamite. I always thought about that.
Yeah. Pull a George Lucas and put some extra stuff in there.
I know you also said script about the costuming and the coloring.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. They all have their signature colors.
Well, that was me, baby.
Yeah, all right. Nice.
Yeah. No, I've learned even with Heathers and Batman Returns and some of my other things. This is advice to all you writers out there. Think of the Halloween costume your character is.
Ooh.
Your film will live forever if it's a good Halloween costume. So it's always good to think about what they actually look like and if somebody will go as it for Halloween.
God, that's so true.
Wow.
I love that.
I love that.
All right, should we talk about Batman Returns?
Are we going to prom or to hell?
I've been down here too long. It's time for me to ascend.
From the sewers of Gotham, a new villain emerges.
You didn't invite me, so I crashed.
From the rooftops of Gotham, the perfect enemy comes to life.
I am Catwoman. Hear me roar.
Yeah.
And the only one who can save this city is a creature of the night.
Hey, Stud. I thought we had something together.
We do.
While she craves a romance she can sink her claws into,
You're catnip to a girl like me.
he plots a foul reign of destruction.
My dear penguins, thanks to Batman, the time has come to punish all of Gotham!
Above Gotham looms its greatest hero.
Okay, so I just want to start by saying that Batman Returns was another extremely formative movie for me.
Oh, good. I didn't know what I was stepping into.
I mean, recognize that it has problems. It's what the kids would call a problematic fave.
I forgot a long hot prop set.
Yes.
Yeah.
But that Catwoman just changed my life. I was just obsessed, and every line that she says is so iconic to me. And I wanted to make Life's a Bitch Now, So Am I, my senior quote, but they wouldn't let me.
Oh, that's the best line in the film.
But it has a lot going for it. It's hilarious, it's weird, it's horny.
I know horny is one of my least favorite words, but there's no getting around that it's a horny movie.
There's no better word, I think. We just have to embrace horny, I think.
I've embraced it for sure.
Who's the man behind the bed? Maybe you can help me find the woman behind the cat. No, that's not you.
So the origin story, as I understand it, is that you met with Tim Burton to discuss a Beetlejuice sequel, and then he hired you for this instead.
It wasn't all in one period. Oh, your Beetlejuice is so bad, we're going to let you do Batman.
And then they took your script for this and brought in another guy, Wesley Strick, to make a shooting script.
Wesley Strick. Yeah, Wesley Strick came in and made it less weird, which it needed to be. He gave it that firstborn of Gotham City plot I don't like, but whatever. I mean, you're not having me on the show for anything Wesley Strick did, let's put it that way. Because Catwoman was all me. And I love the way you introduced the movie, because that's definitely the way I look at it too. I mean, it's how I won the job, because I'm not a huge comic book fanatic. I definitely was not, I mean, as you can tell by the amount of screen time he has, I was not a Batman worshiper. The Batman I wrote was much more cynical and verbal. Michael Keaton, to his credit, would go through my script and go, too clever, too funny. Batman's not funny. When Batman wears a suit, he can't do jokes. He wants to talk in one syllables, which, I mean, he had the character down. And I think he's great in the movie, even though he's not in it.
I love it. He plays him as like a meathead, kind of.
I came into this, he had already gotten a script from another writer, Sam Hamm, that had Penguin and Catwoman in it, but it was just kind of a old-fashioned adventure yarn and like a heist, and Tim didn't want to have anything to do with it. I mean, it just was not for him. I mean, a lot of the writing Batman Returns is like, what can I do to please the mythical prince on his throne and make him laugh, make him smile? Because you got to engage Tim like almost like getting the ball of yarn. And so I came in knowing some of Catwoman's backstory, that I wanted her to start at the bottom. I wanted her to be a homemade supervillain, like Batman has the closet full of bat suits and a huge spectacular cave, and she's reaching into pizza boxes in her car to get their Catwoman outfit out. That's like one of the first images I had. And then I started talking like this, and he started drawing this sewy, stitchy Catwoman. I'm like, okay, his pen is moving. I got something going on. It's working.
Oh yeah, the DIY-ness of her costume is so fantastic.
Yeah.
When did you decide it was going to be a Christmas movie?
That was weird. It was so casual. I know Tim likes Christmas. I think Tim's original idea was to take place in Christmas. I'm like, well, I don't know. Then I thought, oh, but they can kiss under mistletoe, and started getting horny.
A kiss under the mistletoe. You know, mistletoe can be deadly if you eat it.
A kiss can be even deadly.
And then it all opened up a lot of things. Like, it was actually very helpful. We can do tree lighting ceremony. I mean, it's so funny. It's a Christmas movie that got released in June of 1992.
And we're talking about it in May. What is it?
Right.
So, yeah.
It's good. I like an untraditional Christmas movie. You know?
Yeah.
It's nice. That kind of little genre of movies that take place at Christmas.
Yeah, it's funny. Now it plays every Christmas around town, like in different theaters. And I'm like, okay. It's like the Halloween costume associated with a major holiday.
Yeah.
Like, give your film life.
The culture is definitely embracing backdoor Christmas movies. No one wants to watch A Christmas Story anymore. We need something else.
Even like others, even more than that, it was hated by a lot of people when it came out. Batman fans would tell us everything we did wrong about Batman, even though I can't even tell you, I can't communicate how crazy it was that it really was me and Tim alone in a room coming with ideas. Like, now to write a superhero movie, you have to stand before a tribunal and have people shout at you for 20 minutes every day for what you're doing wrong. And we were just two guys like, yeah, let's make Penguin a mutant. He was an ugly gangster in the TV show, but why don't we just go full mutant on him? Yeah, let's do it. And I think a lot of Batman fans weren't inundated with superhero movies, so when ours came out, they were much more angry about how we betrayed Batman. But now that there's been 20 Batman movies and 50 superhero movies, like, I think people are going back to it like, hey, at least that one was different. Right. Hey, this is something different. It's like when it's 50 hamburgers, suddenly like, I'm going to try sushi tonight. It's got a new profile.
The cream is rising to the top.
I'd like to think.
Well, let's talk hot probs.
Ooh, hot probs.
Shut up. Hot probs is on.
Oh, shit, yeah.
Oh, no, already? Already we're done with the good stuff?
Don't worry, there's lots of good stuff.
We'll get up to meaningful passages.
Meaningful passages, yay.
My hot probs are definitely not Batman related. It's definitely my favorite Batman movie. The only other one I really liked was the one that just came out with Robert Pattinson.
No, I like that one too.
So I guess I like ones that aren't very true to the comic books. You were saying that what was added in was the Penguin revenge plot, and one of my probs is that I just don't even understand what his plan is. It's really confusing.
I may have saved the mayor's baby, but I refuse to save a mayor. who stood by helpless as a baby, while Gotham was ravaged by a disease that turned Eagle Scouts into crazed clowns and happy homemakers into Catwomen.
Yeah, Outlaw Cobblepot, the mystery man-beast who's been romancing Gotham, today made his bid to run Gotham.
These are the names of the firstborn sons of Gotham City, just like I was. And like me, a terrible fate waits for them. Tonight, while their parents party, they'll be dreaming away in their safe cribs, their soft beds, and we will snatch them, carry them into the sewer, and toss them into a deep, dark, watery grave.
Penguin? Killing sleeping children. Isn't that a little,
Wesley Strick.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I'm gonna say that whenever something bad happens.
I'm gonna hang Wesley Strick out to dry during hot proms. I don't get that thing either. I don't know. And definitely some of Penguin is a little too much. But I do love, you may not know that there's a lot of other movies that have the line. In Elephant Man and Raging Bull, they have the line, I'm not an animal, I'm a human being. So Tim, again, pleasing Tim. Tim just loved the line that I created.
My name is not Oswald. It's Penguin. I am not a human being. I am an animal.
The embracing of the animal side was such a joy to Tim. I mean, usually I'm the weirdest one in the room, so like me and Tim, it was like Rain Man with two Dustin Hoffmans. People didn't know how to deal with us, but I knew it pleased him.
Yeah, I love that line. I definitely got the Elephant Man reference. We're big Lynch fans. And I like that it's a callback, too, to him saying earlier he's trying to convince everyone that he's a human.
It's not what it's cranked up to be, being a human.
When teenagers complain that they want to be treated like human beings, it's usually because they are being treated like human beings.
Yeah, well, I guess I picked the wrong time to be a human being.
I recognize that was Tim's secret theme of humanizing the monster and monsterizing the human. That's why the true villain of the movie is Donald Trump in the role of Christopher Walken.
Oh, yeah.
This power plant is my legacy. It's what I leave behind for Chip. Nothing must prevent that.
Capitalism. It's capitalism is the true villain, and also I feel like performative democracy is a big villain.
Mayor. Max, elections happen in November. Is this not late December?
Don't worry about it.
I love it.
God damn you, performative democracy. You fooled me again.
A problem I have with Batman as a person is that he has way too much faith in the police.
Right.
That drives me crazy about him. He's always like, let's just wait for the police to clean this up. And it never works out.
Yeah, well, weird.
Why are you doing this? Let's just take him to the police. Then we can go home. Together.
Well, I like the police have no faith in him. Like, Penguin puts like a bat thing in the girl's trailer and like, okay, Batman's the killer. He's on the roof when she drops the hero that says, start shooting him. He's obviously the real villain. Like, what? Not gonna give Batman the benefit of the doubt?
That kind of tracks, though. The cops would be looking for a patsy.
Superhero stuff is just not my thing that much in general, but Batman is such a weird superhero because he has, like, no powers. He's, like, just this guy.
He's a rich guy.
Right.
With a lot of time on his hands.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I like about him. I'm not a Superman fan. Well, what's the big deal? He can just do everything. The first movie, he turns back the globe and turns back time. Why doesn't he just do that every day?
Right.
Yeah.
Like every time something
happens.
Like, remember that thing you can do?
Ugh, yeah. Superbad sucks. Well, I mean, my kind of hero is Catwoman. I love the anti-hero. She's chaotic and neutral.
We'll get to it, but I love the Catwoman movie I wrote, but apparently I was the only one.
I guess a nitpicky one for me was leaving a commercial on your answering machine. That doesn't happen.
Hello, Selina Kyle. We're just calling to make sure you've tried Gotham Lady perfume. One whiff of this at the office and your boss will be asking you to stay after work for a candlelight staff meeting for two. Gotham Lady perfume, exclusive exclusively at Shrek's Department.
That may have been me. I wanted Gotham Lady perfume. I wanted a perfume ad. I'm so sorry.
Well, that's okay. I just wonder why it wasn't on the radio or like the TV or just the answering machine was confusing to me.
Well, you can get those calls. They still do those kind of calls. They did them more in the 90s, I guess.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I mean, that's just...
Huh, okay. I retract that then. I guess I wasn't taking those sorts of calls.
You gotta get her mad. She's gotta knock that O and that T and take hello there to hell here.
Oh, God, I love it. I love it.
Now, did you have a hot problem with her saving the girl from the mugger and then turning on the girl?
Thanks. You make it so easy, don't you? Always waiting for some bad man to save you. I am Catwoman. Hear me roar.
Oh, yeah. I mean, a little bit, except that I also feel like that was the culture. I mean, it's very believable that she would shame the victim because she's obviously a product of misogyny before she really blossoms.
Yeah, I just didn't want her to be a pure heroine.
Yeah.
Okay? I like the little nasty bits that she does have. I have an overall problem with what people call a strong female character nowadays, especially in action and superhero movies where they think a strong female character is somebody that acts like a man and can take out a bunch of hitmen on a staircase. And like, to me, a strong female character's got some female in her, that it's more complex and interesting. And what I love about Catwoman's not trying to win the big game. She's trying to destroy the game. She's trying to bring everything down. And her plan is anarchy, which I think makes her different than like Captain Marvel or somebody, female character like that, where everything she does is right and just and beautiful. I just think it's more interesting.
It really is, and you really nail the essence of Catwoman. I don't know if that's who she was in the comics before, because I didn't start to read the comics until after this movie came out. But
she's much more of a male fantasy figure than the comics.
Yeah.
She's got great lines maybe, but I always thought she was a little too much.
She has people that she likes, that she wants to save and protect, but for the most part, she really is, like you said, an agent of chaos. Like, she's just so tired of the world that she wants to burn it all down and maybe steal some diamonds on the way.
When we were kids, my brother and I used to watch the show Batman and Catwoman. We were never sure, like, is she supposed to be a villain or another superhero? Like, we're never sure about that.
Those are the most interesting characters.
No, I don't know why I never found the Catwomans in the Batman TV show sexy. I guess they were too much like my mom's friends that they scared me.
Your mom had hot friends.
My mother's bridge partner.
Was Eartha Kitt?
I know. Like, your mom's friends look like Eartha Kitt.
That'd be great. Yeah, my mom and Eartha Kitt.
Yeah, she's my second favorite Catwoman.
Yeah, for sure.
Just in delivery, not the story. They didn't write any good stories for her, but
definitely.
The essence of her is wonderful.
Next call.
Oh, I guess I have a question. Do you know what dirty limerick Alfred is thinking of?
In fact, he makes me feel the way I hope I really am. No. Could you just make up a sonnet or something, a dirty limerick?
One has just sprung to mind.
No, I do not, but I do like that line.
That is pretty funny.
He delivers it quite nicely.
Yeah, he's really good. He's very low-key, under-celebrated Alfred, I think.
Why are you still out? Are you concerned about that strange, heroic penguin person? Cold. It's vichyssoise. It's supposed to be cold.
Those are kind of my favorite where it's them out of costume. Of course, my favorite scene, which was something I pitched in like the first meeting, was we gotta have a costume party where they're the only ones not wearing costumes.
We take off our costumes.
I guess I'm tired of wearing masks.
Me too.
Oh, that's so effective. That is awesome.
That was another Tim, like, waking up like, yes, I know how to do that. Visual, I understand.
I guess there's a couple lines that the Penguin delivers, sort of like the Crypt Keeper. Like, they're kind of punny jokes that don't really land for me. Like,
They wouldn't put me on a pedestal, so I'm laying them on a slab. Welcome to the Oswald Cobblepot School of Driving. Gentlemen, start your screaming.
I mean, they're not all winners. That's funny because I'm doing the Gentlemen Start Your Screaming podcast next.
Well, there's fans for everything.
With a bunch of dudes.
That's not surprising.
This is more of like a movie Hollywood hot prod, but like when someone is supposed to be like this lonely loser and she's fucking beautiful.
Now, you wait a minute now, because I don't think she's a complete loser. You can tell she's got a sense of humor.
Back from more sexual escapades you refuse to share? Not that I'd ever pry. Oh, drink your dinner. What? How can anyone be so pathetic? Yes, to you I seem pathetic, but I'm a working girl. Gotta pay the rent.
Oh, yeah, she did. No, I love her.
Even when her boyfriend calls to cancel a date.
Selina, about that Christmas getaway we planned, I'll be going alone. Dr. Shaw says I need to be my own person and not an appendage.
Some appendage?
She's got a boyfriend, and she's very funny about it. I think she's definitely downtrodden. I'll cop to a little guilt, but I wasn't quite like, oh, now she's beautiful. I think she's a likable, great person from the get-go, and that she just becomes herself even more. But she's definitely in a pathetic position.
Yeah. I guess I felt like you're just supposed to think she's kind of like pathetic in the beginning.
And she's calling herself pathetic all the time. She's like, there's a lot of negative self-talk.
Yeah, she's like, honey, I'm home. Oh, wait.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe we're just buying into her own negative self-image.
That's so me that I think, it can't be a negative self-image. I do it all the time. Oh, I guess I do.
But what I have so many more of besides hot props is meaningful passages.
I've already started underlining meaningful passages in her copy of Moby Dick, if you know what I mean.
All right. It's always good when you come to pay you to get the more meaningful passages than hot props.
It's a good sign. Where to start, even? I love their meet cute. That's so great. The Selina and Batman in the alley. He rescues her, and then she tases that guy extra, and she has that line about, that was brief.
Wow. The Batman. Or is it just Batman? Your choice, of course. Well, that was very brief. Just like all the men in my life. What men? Well, then again, there's you, but you need therapy.
That's really funny.
Yeah, that's funny. Oh my God, gotta stop me if I agree, that is a meaningful passage.
Well, do you have a favorite line, Daniel, that you wrote in the script? It's okay to toot your own horn.
You hit it right off the bat, that life's a bitch, now so am I. When that line came to me, that was like, okay. Gentlemen, start your screaming. Life's a bitch, now so am I. Like, okay, I get the movie now.
I'm a woman and can't be taken for granted. Life's a bitch, now so am I.
Yeah, that's her mission statement, basically. The whole scene where she is trashing the department store is so fucking delightful. I just love her skipping around in there.
Yeah.
And then when the security guards try to stop her.
You poor guys. Always confusing your pistols with your privates.
Don't hurt us, lady. Our take-home's less than 300.
You're overpaid.
That's so funny.
Like Winona, she definitely brings a lot to the party. Not that I don't think the lines are brilliant and meaningful, but she just takes them to another level.
Absolutely, God.
I like when Selina and Bruce are on their like sort of awkward date at his place, and I mean I just love that they're so attractive and have such chemistry, but also are so awkward together in that scene. That's really charming.
It is.
Girlfriend?
Sure. Oh, you mean, as in serious? No, had one, didn't work.
What went wrong? Hang on, I think I know. You kept things from her.
No, told her everything.
Huh? And the truth frightened her?
Well, there are two truths. You know, and she had trouble reconciling them because I had trouble reconciling them.
I love that they've got to hide their wounds from each other that they caused each other.
You can't do that.
Neither can I.
Yeah.
The wound on Selina's arm is so much grosser than it needed to be, but I love it.
It is really gross, and it looks like
you should really get that looked at.
I know. I was going to say it looks infected at some point. I could think probably my favorite Batman line, or I guess it's a Bruce line, is when he's telling Alfred,
Tell Selina, Miss Kyle in there. Tell her I had to go to town. Tell her there's a big business deal came up. No, you know what? Let her know that not in some kind of dumb, be my girlfriend kind of way.
I will relay the message.
Oh my God, I love that you're tiptoeing to the minefield and not quoting Wesley Strick lines, you're quoting my lines. So, I feel like a victory. See, Wesley did a good job of, making it more normal. I tried to have no references to pop culture in the movie. Like, I wanted Gotham City to be its own world. And he put a love connection joke in there. Love connection joke. That was a dated joke even then.
Wow. Yeah, that's a real age test if you remember Love Connection.
Come on, man.
That kind of reminds me of Saved by the Bell. A funny thing about it was how you could totally tell it was written by 40-year-olds because of the references the teenagers made. So bizarre. I Wouldn't Touch You to Scratch You is fucking fantastic.
Here you come into the bedroom, twitching your little tail. My slippers in one hand, a dry martini in the other.
Oh, please. I wouldn't touch you to scratch you.
You lousy minx!
Well, I like the way Christopher Walken says when he's like, I feel almost vulgar in this Yuletide context.
He's funny because I actually meant the character to be much more boring. I wanted to really do the contrast of like the boring politician that you don't pay attention to is the true evil. But Christopher Walken's like, Dan DeVito and Michelle Pfeiffer are having way too much fun. I'm going to go crazy too. So he went full Walken, but it definitely works.
It's probably one of the few things he can't do is be boring.
Be subdued, yeah.
Yes.
Point is, Max, Gotham City has a power surplus. I'm sure you know that. My question is, what's your angle?
Power surplus, Bruce. Shame on you. No such thing. One can never have too much power. If my life has a meaning, that's the meaning.
Yeah, well, I'm going to fight you on this, and I've already spoken to the mayor, and we see eye to eye.
Mayors come and go. Blue bloods tire easy. You think you could go 15 rounds with Mohammed Shrek?
Indeed, indeed.
I love his line, give the Constitution a rest, it's Christmas.
You're violating the First Amendment, abridging the freedom of the press.
Wait a minute. What about the freedom to rediscover your roots? With dignity and privacy. Give the Constitution a rest, okay? It's Christmas.
That's strict, but
That's a strict one? Okay, well, he got one.
I like the Penguin when he says to Batman, the direct approach. I admire that in a man with a mask. I love that.
Sweet burn.
Yeah. And just, Catwoman hand-springing towards Batman and just like the meow.
Iconic.
So,
right before the building explodes?
Yeah, and then
Jesus
the building
Christ.
explodes. It's like so perfect.
Meow.
Yeah, that's definitely meow period. It was like, okay, every Catwoman's got to be able to, because that's the way I envisioned it completely. And I'm glad that she got that because if she would have done it even a little more over the top, it would have ruined it.
She perfectly balances, more than any other Catwoman, the cat-like personality traits and being a person. It's really over the top when she's like actually licking herself on the bed. But the rest of the time it's just the demeanor that she nails. Like she's really got that cat-like personality.
I mean, I think her character and herself, the way she's doing it is what weirds people out. It freaks people out. Like, people go, oh, the movie's so dark and weird. And like, yeah, the other Batman movies are even darker. Like, they blow up football stadiums and children's hospitals. But I think more people are more disturbed by a woman licking a man's face than they are, like, incredible violence. That I think it gets under their skin even more. And it thrills some people and freaks other people out.
Mistletoe can be deadly if you eat it.
But a kiss can be even deadlier if you mean it.
Yeah.
Have you seen the film of the little kids on the talk show, like complaining about Batman Returns of how frightening it was?
No.
Oh, it's worth thinking up. It's great.
They came out at the time.
And the things they say, this is different than other scary movies. I saw Terminator 2, that was nothing.
Some parents contend that Batman Returns, which is rated PG-13, is actually being marketed for younger children, and the movie is just too violent. Let's get an expert opinion on that from USA Today's junior movie critic, 10-year-old Danny Slasky.
It was very violent. It was a total attack against kids, the whole movie. Everything that kids love was being used against them.
Like what?
Clowns. Even the penguin had a ducky boat.
So and things that kids could identify
presents
with.
And mobiles. All that type of stuff we're using to hurt kids and capture kids. Penguin's total goal was to hurt kids.
You think it was scary then?
I was actually a little bit scared, and I have never been scared of a movie like this before.
Yeah.
I came out of Terminator 2, fine.
I'm like, oh my God, you're right. That's brilliant. Thank you. We took all the child stuff and ruined it for you. You get it.
I saw it twice to get a real good view of it. And the second time I saw it...
It's his job, no snickering. He had to see it twice, right?
I mean, that is kind of a Tim Burton signature, too. It's a dark fairy tale sort of story.
Yeah, it's something I like to do. Like, even Heather's, like, I try to lull you in with the cliche of, like, oh, he's a rebel boyfriend? Okay, this is going to be great. There's nothing wrong here. I've seen this movie before 100 times. Then that's when you got him.
Yeah, it's funny, just going back to Heather's too, like, because people talk a lot about, like, what you couldn't make today, you know, and usually they just mean, like, because you can't be racist anymore. But, like, you really couldn't make Heather's today. It's like the shooting them in the cafeteria like that.
Oh, yeah, you get at least 5 days suspension.
They would throw his ass in jail.
Yes. Yeah, I like when people say that they couldn't make the movie today. Me and Michael Lehman are always like, we couldn't make it then. Like, we had to sneak it. Like, I hate the poster for Heather's. Just Smiley with them with their arms around each other, and like it's so silly. And then I hear stories of like that was what let the video store guy rent the movie to, even though it was rated R. Like they would look at it, oh, this is gonna be a fun little movie. So that shitty poster got us a lot more eyeballs.
Oh yeah, I actually don't think I even knew that it was rated R. I was definitely able to rent it many times from the video store, which I would go to by myself.
Yeah, like if you bring somebody holding an axe, they're going to say, you're too young for this. But like, smiling kids, it's just all fun.
I watched a trailer for it once that had a different name. It was called like Lethal Attraction or something.
Lethal Attraction. Can you believe that that's what they called it in Europe?
Oh, Jesus.
Talking about trying to make it horny. The first scene of the trailer is, it's always been a fantasy of mine to have two guys at once. Like this, no context.
Yeah.
That's just the little big line.
He was a rebel.
Chaos is great. Chaos is what killed the dinosaurs, darling.
A romantic.
Is this as good for you as it is for me?
A guy who swept Veronica off her feet.
It's a lot more interesting than just flinging off your clothes and boning away on a neighbor's swing set.
And into a nightmare. From the first blush of romance.
How very.
To the last squeeze of the trigger.
We're not going to be using blanks this time.
They go all the way.
It's not very subtle, but neither's blowing up a whole school now, is it?
You know what I want, babe?
Lethal Attraction.
Cool guys like you out of my life.
Until death do they part. Lethal Attraction.
Oh my God, your House of Yes episode, you played the House of Yes trailer. That could be the worst thing Harvey Weinstein's ever done to somebody, what he did to my brother. That trailer is awful.
Did you give your sister her medication?
Her name is Jackie.
Did Marty tell you about me? How you were? How's that?
She lives in a White House.
When she came out of the room, Jackie's hand was holding Marty's.
And she's got her own ideas about family values.
It's the wildest place you've ever made love.
I can't talk like that about your brother.
Pretend he's not my brother, I do. Marty.
Sometimes it's surprising when I'm editing a podcast and I'll realize that I've never seen the trailer for a movie that I've seen a bunch of times. And I think The House of Yes was one of those where I hadn't seen the trailer until I put it in the podcast.
It's funny. You guys have not done Thelma and Louise yet, have you?
No, it's on our list.
It's got an awful trailer. It's like a Burt Reynolds Smoking the Bandit movie in the trailer.
Oh my God.
Terrible.
Oh, I really like Jan Hook's little cameo.
Hey,
Let's see. What I'd like to do first is to put these little glove thingies on you. Our research tells us that voters like fingers. So if we want to just lose this, we'll do it another time then. Okay,
Research tells us that voters like fingers.
Oh, right. I did. Voters like fingers.
Oh, those are the scenes that I love, you love. And like a Batman fan sitting with it, wants his hamburger and is like, what's Jan Hooks doing in my bed?
I can see why I don't see eye to eye with a lot of Batman fans, but, it's got like a John Waters influence almost in places like that, which is so exciting.
Well, all these people getting killed in every Batman movie, like, the biting of the nose was more traumatic to most people than hundreds of people dying on the bomb. It's like, bomb explosion, 100 people dying, fine.
Still, could be worse. My nose could be gushing blood.
Your nose could be...
What do you mean by that?
Everybody, back to work. Let's make a mayor.
A big nose and eating a fish, too, that freaked people out more than anything.
That is so... I've seen it so many times, and it still grosses me out to see him just chomping into that fish in his, dirty pajamas.
It was the 30th anniversary screening of Batman Returns in Hollywood, and it was great, because every time I saw the movie when it came out, there's kids crying and people punched in the stomach, and it was just like, this was an audience that knew they were getting into it and they loved it. But we had a question and answer afterwards. The guy who got his nose bit was one of the people, and he was very funny. Apparently, the first time he bit, the blood exploded everywhere over Danny DeVito's face. So Danny DeVito hated him.
Is it true that Danny DeVito stayed in character? Do you know?
That's not complete. I mean, it's funny. I have a great thing that happened when I wrote the first draft of the script. Everybody's going crazy over Catwoman. And Danny DeVito takes me aside and goes, hey, dude, I appreciate the script, but you wrote a Danny DeVito character. Every line is Danny DeVito. If I'm going to get in this kind of makeup every day, I want something a little more nuanced, a little more complex and rich. And I'm like, oh my God, I thought I was helping this guy. I thought I was making it easy for him. But it tells me a lot about actors that they want to be challenged. Maybe they want something better than what they're used to doing. So I gave him much more of a dramatic breadth.
Yeah, it is very unusual for him. I can't think of any other role where he gets that dark.
Yeah, well, it allows him to be epic, too.
Yeah. Oh, I really like it's so quick, just that penguin flunky when he steals the baby.
I'm not really one for speeches, so I'll just say thanks.
That's pretty funny.
His one scene, great. That was great line delivery.
Yeah, you gotta milk it if you're only on camera for a brief time.
Yeah, that goes back to Heather's that I can't write anybody normal. Even the flunky's got to get a good line. I can't let the flunky go out on set without a good line. Even the cop's got to be funny. Even the teacher's got to be funny. You got to make sure everybody's got something.
Yeah.
Right. I also love it how there's all the meaningful names, obviously Betty and Veronica and Finn and Sawyer. But even when she's talking about the petition, she's like Jennifer Forbes and Doug Hilton.
That's so funny. Jennifer Forbes and Doug Hilton happen to be friends of mine, but the other name.
Oh, really? Is that
Sawyer and Finn, yeah.
I thought it was because rich people.
You have to have good names too. Al Springer's also my good high school friend.
Oh, did he French kiss Betty Finn?
He kissed Al Springer once. It was a total disaster.
Do you know I'm still a virgin? Okay, I French kissed Al Springer once. It was a total disaster.
She says I'm still a virgin, except I kiss. Yeah, you are still a virgin. What are you talking about?
There's no except.
I feel insulted that you felt like you had to explain who Al Springer is. I know. French kissed Betty Finn. I know who Al Springer is.
Yeah, poor Al Springer. He didn't deserve that. I didn't even tell him. He said he was on a date. Thanks a lot, Waters.
Oh, and Alfred, another Alfred line that's so good. Must you be the only lonely man beast in town?
Why are you now determined to prove that this penguin is not what he seems? Must you be the only lonely man beast in town?
I just like any time a character calls out the fact that Batman, the hero, is also just a fucking weirdo. Like when he tells Selina, you have a kind of a dark side, and she's like...
No darker than yours, Bruce.
Oh my God, Batman was so overwritten the first draft because he tells the jokes about himself.
Oh, really?
I thought this opening was brilliant, but the first draft of the script, you begin, bam, with the Batman logo, the famous Batman logo. And you pull out and you realize you're in a merchandising store, Batman merchandising, souvenir shop of all these Batman stuff that was sold in Capitals of Batman. And then the store blows up. Batman just has all these speeches like, they put me on lunchboxes, but they don't understand. Keaton said no.
I mean, I like the merchandising idea, though. You could do that without a lot of speeches. I mean, again, it goes back to, like, the darkness of capitalism.
I thought it was great.
I think so, too. He was wrong about that one. I laugh when Penguin gives, like, the military pep talk to the penguins.
Oh
It's okay to be scared.
My dear penguin, we stand on a great threshold. It's okay to be scared. Many of you won't be coming back.
I always forget about that. Like, true equality will happen whenever his erogenous zones are blown up together. Like, what?
Why be biased? Male and female. Hell, the sexes are equal with their erogenous zones blown sky high.
Like, I know I wrote that. Oh my God, what was I thinking? Like,
it's great.
Oh God.
Except my kids get a little stressed out. I've made them watch it at Christmas. They get stressed out about the penguins, even though the penguins are going to be okay.
Oh my God, they actually believe that they're real penguins. That's good.
Were they not real penguins?
Oh, I guess they're real penguins, but when they start getting computerized, you know, when...
when they multiply them.
They hack the penguin.
I guess that's kind of a hot prop for me, is on the, like, radar screen, it's the shape of a penguin.
The penguins seem to be converging on Gotham Plaza.
Oh my God. You know, that climax is not very good. But the woman in the igloo is who sells it.
Oh yeah,
Which is
she's
like-
so cool.
30 seconds until ignition. Estimated casualties after launch, 100,000 people. The penguins have reached Gotham Square.
She makes it work for somehow.
She kind of sounds like Isabella Rossellini, and it's a really nice dry
I know.
delivery.
I for a second thought that's who that was. I'm like, how did I not know she was in this?
I really like when Selina says, when she's being menaced by her boss,
How can you be so mean to someone so meaningless?
Well, I'm writing a novel right now, and I realize I write those kind of lines way too much. Where I take part of the word and make it another word. It's a watersism, but I'll take it.
That's great.
Right.
No, I love it. I love it because it does feel like injustice, but also it's so commonplace. Like, I've been an administrative assistant, and that is just what happens, is like, you aren't anything to them, but they take all their shit out on you.
Forgot my speech. You might want to take it out on what's her name.
And then they push you out a window.
Go ahead. Intimidate me. Bully me if it makes you feel big. I mean, it's not like you can just kill me.
Actually, it's a lot like that.
I'm a voice for the working man, what can I say?
I think it's really funny when Catwoman's stuck on that parasol. I know it's kind of cheesy, but when Penguin makes her hold the parasol and she starts to fly away, like, it reminds me of Cats, the musical Cats, when they're like floating up to the Heaviside layer. I don't know.
She does a lot of dropping in the movie.
Yes.
Saved by kitty litter.
She kind of starts to fall off a roof and she claws at the roof in a really funny way. That's very cat-like.
Yeah, I like when she embraces the cat part of Catwoman.
Oh God, she's so smart too when she teams up with Penguin, which I guess is a bit of a prop for me because I really don't feel like she would do that. But his idea of just killing him, she's like...
No. He'd have even more power as a martyr. To destroy Batman, we must first turn him into what he hates the most. Namely us.
We don't want to make him a martyr. I think that's just such a clever thing to realize.
I thought so. Thank you.
But when she says that, I'm like, why are you even there? Why are you taking this meeting? This guy can't help you.
Yeah, it's good to think not too close about a partnership. Thankfully, it ends as fast as it got together.
That's true. She realizes it was a mistake to come there as well.
I mean, it's hilarious to think the end of the movie is not... I mean, because now superhero climaxes are always like, a cloud from another dimension is going to swallow up the city unless the superhero does something. And like, my superhero movie, it's just three people arguing in a cave. Like, getting a lot of emotions out of the system.
Yeah, it's such a fantastic climax, and I really love the conversation between Selina and Bruce, I guess. I mean, because they basically are Selina and Bruce at that point.
Selina. Don't you see? We're the same. We're the same. Split. Right down the center. Selina, please.
Bruce, I would love to live with you in your castle. Forever, just like in a fairy tale. I just couldn't live with myself. So don't pretend this is a happy ending.
Outside life's a bitch now, so those are my favorite lines of like, don't pretend this is a happy ending.
Yeah. I just couldn't live with myself.
Which every kid wants to hear at Christmas. Don't pretend this is a happy ending.
Yeah.
Right.
I love that. I feel like she sees through the artifice of everything and she calls it out. And for some reason, Bruce is the guy that loves Christmas unequivocally. He believes in magic and castles and fairy tales. And she's just like, okay, you're cute, but you're delusional. And then I do like when she says 2 lives left. I think I'll save one for next Christmas.
2 lives left. I think I'll save one for next Christmas. But in the meantime, how about a kiss, Santa Claus?
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, I like that.
Another fun scene of 4 or 5 still alive. Just like getting point blank shot. Like, hey kids, it's a good time.
But she does kind of come back. She does literally come back at the end. That's right. That shot.
Yeah.
One of my fun facts is how much that last shot cost.
Oh, how much did it cost?
$250,000.
No way.
That's a lot of money.
Wow. I think it's because they may even have to change the prints because it was so late in the game. It's so funny how I tend to kill my female characters in the first draft of my script, but they always end up alive. Yeah. Veronica and Heathers and Catwoman.
Alive and kind of covered in soot.
Yes.
That's great.
Can't get completely off scot-free.
Oh, and another fun fact I have, which is relevant to our interests, because Amy and I also have a podcast about Twin Peaks. Is it true that David Bowie was going to play Max Schreck?
Not that they listened to the casting decisions of the writer, but I gave Tim Burton a 2 name cast list. Number 1, Christopher Walken. Number 2, David Bowie. And I think Christopher Walken said yes right off the bat, so we never got to David Bowie. But David Bowie he was going to be the cold, chilly version of it.
Yes. Oh. But he shot Twin Peaks Fire Walk With Me instead, at the same time.
I'm not going to talk about Judy. In fact, we're not going to talk about Judy at all. We're going to keep her out of it.
Go with the hits. Go with the big hits.
I know, and then he wasn't even happy with that performance, which makes me sad, but I think it's great.
He's great.
Another fun fact I have is how they got all those cats to go ham on Selina when she's in the alley is that they put tuna all over her.
Oh my God. Wow. How great is she with her eyes and everything like that? That's all her. That's not CGI.
It's so good.
Yeah, she's so good.
Oh, I love zombie Selina when she comes back and trashes her apartment.
Honey, I'm home.
Oh, I forgot I'm not married.
A trashing an apartment scene is very fun always, but then, especially when it's kind of lackadaisical. Right. Like the way she knocks the lamp off is so cat-like, where cats are just kind of like...
Yes. Yes, that's one of my favorite scenes. Although I appreciate it more now. When I saw it in the theater, it's a great scene, but everybody around me in the audience was like, where the fuck's Batman? We're 25 minutes in the movie. Mike Keaton hasn't had 1 line yet.
I didn't miss him.
What else does a suicide need, huh? Now, if you'll excuse me.
So this what's called Lunchtime Poll.
Oh, shit. I know. I love that even all your episodes still keep that Heathers in the game.
Oh, yeah.
I try to work it in wherever I can.
Always do a Lunchtime Poll.
Yeah.
So this is what's called a Lunchtime Poll.
we decided because it's a Christmas movie and it's kind of about a lot of people are having a bad Christmas.
You know, that was one thing that they cut from the script for the movie. It's in the comic book version of the movie, but he has all that obsession with power, Matt Shrek, and when she does the kiss at the end, I wanted the Christmas lights and all the lights of Gotham City to blink on and off.
Oh, man. That would have been so good.
That's really cool, but no! They're too cheap, saving their money for the $250,000 last shot.
Oh, yeah, too cheap sometimes.
Yeah, to do that last shot. Save up for that.
Okay, hit me. Bummer Christmas.
Well, or if you don't want to say a bummer Christmas, you can say your best ever Christmas.
Yeah, your choice.
Oh my God, I'm going to blow your minds.
Oh!
Because, should I go first?
Yeah.
Because my best Christmas is also my worst Christmas.
Oh,
Perfect.
wow.
Oh, wow. Perfect.
And it ended up being based on my favorite Little House on the Prairie episode, which I'm sure you have not. I meant to talk about my upbringing as reading Judy Blume instead of boys' novels. That's what's infected me and my characters. But anyway, we got snowed in. It was a blizzard. I grew up in Indiana. My brother was a newspaper boy, and we were a test market city in South Bend, Indiana.
Oh.
They were testing a new product called sour cream and onion Doritos, which ended up being Cool Ranch, but that was many years later.
I love
They were
Cool
sour
Ranch.
cream and onion. And he was supposed to put a bag in each paper. We got blizzarded. We couldn't go out. It was Christmas Eve and Christmas. We couldn't go out of our house. And so for Christmas, all we could eat was little bags of sour cream and onion Doritos. But it was quite a bonding experience. It was kind of special. And my brother and I think it's myth-making that we say it's our best and worst Christmas. Like, we're maybe mythologizing it a little bit, but, you know, it's still my answer.
That's great.
I love it.
That's perfect. I feel like that's the spirit of Christmas. Because I love Christmas, but it's still supposed to be a little sad.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like, oh, hey, what we're going through is just like the TV shows and specials that we watch. It's fucking miserable, but it's like drama.
But we're together. Yeah. Also, it's kind of fun to not be able to have your traditional Christmas dinner and just eat Doritos instead. Because there's a lot of stress involved for people who cook a Christmas dinner.
Yeah, that is true. Like sometimes.
And have to wash up.
Sometimes plans going awry ends up being like the best times.
In theory.
Well, sometimes. Sometimes it just means like...
That's the story we're going with.
Yeah.
I'll go next. My worst Christmas kind of led into a bunch of great Christmases afterwards. It was my sophomore year of college, and I was still flying all the way to Virginia, which is where I came from, and moved to Washington for college. And I didn't realize until later that the reason my parents were acting like such assholes is because my dad... My mom had found out that my dad had like another family across town.
Oh, what?
Another family across
town. Thank God I didn't go second.
Yeah, and my mom was losing her mind, and everyone just had a fucking terrible time. And the one gift I remember is that I had told my dad that I got into folk music. And so he gave me, for Christmas, he gave me the Jewel CD.
I feel like he was trying.
Because he heard that she was a folk singer.
Oh, wow.
That's like a real classic dad move, you know? It's like bad, but like he's trying.
Yeah, he like heard one thing I said.
That's a folk singer, right?
Yeah, and then on the way back, I got stuck in Chicago for 12 hours. And after that, I decided I'm never fucking going back to Virginia for Christmas ever again. And I never did. And then the next several Christmas... And then until I had kids of my own, I basically ignored Christmas and just went to like one Christmas. We went to Cheesecake Factory with some friends. We did like Chinese food karaoke one Christmas. It was just the best like early 20s single life Christmases were fucking awesome.
All right, I'll go. I mean, for me, this was a great Christmas, but it was like maybe not the best for everyone, but maybe it was. I don't know. But this past Christmas, so my kids are half the time with me, half the time with their dad. And on Christmas, it's supposed to be they're at one parent for Christmas Eve in the morning and come over to the other parent for the afternoon and then go back to where they were. So this year, I was just that, afternoon Christmas, which is fine. And also, often on Christmas, my best friends, who's my extended family, are usually here for the day. And they were like, oh, we're going to Phoenix this Christmas.
Wow.
I know. And then also, so my boyfriend and I are new this year, and he has a son, and we weren't sure, like, his ex-wife maybe would not want her son spending Christmas with me, which, you know, it's like, okay, this is your comfort level. So I was thinking I was going to be mostly by myself on Christmas. And my yoga studio wasn't even doing a Christmas Day class, which they usually do. But anyway, so we had this ice storm. So my ex-husband, like right before Christmas, was on a trip. I don't even know where he was. But he didn't make it home because everything was shut down in Seattle. It was crazy. I mean, it was so eerie. You go outside, it's just covered with ice everywhere. So he got stuck wherever he was. He wasn't coming back till a couple days after Christmas. These guys never left. Right? And then my boyfriend's ex-wife was like, I just want Christmas morning, and then you guys go do whatever you want. So I ended up I thought I was going to be by myself. It was 9 of us. So everybody else's plans going around worked out great for me. And I know we all watched something.
These are movie Christmases.
There was a movie Christmas.
We watched some great... What did we watch? It was something good. Yeah.
I feel like we watched something good, but I don't know what it was.
Communism was just a red herring.
I mean, it was probably Batman Returns, right? Obviously.
That's right. Do some editing and make a Batman Returns.
Well, I did watch Batman Returns with my younger one this Christmas at some point, but it wasn't on Christmas Day.
Okay, so for my worst Christmas story, I guess, had to have been like 13 years ago or something, but I'm often like, it's just me and my mom for Christmas. My family, they go visit their in-laws or something, and my mom, I do a lot of caregiving for. Ever since I was in high school, like, she would have me buy presents for the family from her.
Please, I hope this story is a comeback.
I'm sorry. Well, I said it was...
Don't pretend it's a happy ending.
Oh, I don't know. Well, I decided, like, I'm never going to the mall on Christmas Eve again because I had this one time where I just had a full-on panic attack. I got to the parking garage and I could not find my car.
Oh, no.
And I'm, like, walking around. I can't find my car. And then, like, I had, like, the security guard drive me around the garage looking for my car.
On Christmas Eve?
I found it.
Oh, my gosh.
She's still there.
Yeah.
Tell me it was played by Ryan Gosling and all ended very well.
That would have been great.
It's probably Paul Blart.
So I stopped trying to make Christmas, like, I had these weird expectations. I think everybody does. And I've really let go of that. It's been really freeing and great.
I like that 2 of your stories are, I realized Christmas sucks and I let go.
I mean, I don't think I love Christmas.
Yeah.
I do.
And then my best Christmas, well, my niece was born at 12:20 a.m., December 26th. Oh. So, like, that was a really nice Christmas that year. Mm. So, I guess I'll go with that one.
Nice.
It was a nice Christmas, but their birthdays are going to suck.
I know. Yeah.
Yeah, her birthday party is usually in September because of that. Yeah. It's just funner to have Junie Day in September.
That's cool.
I know. It's my sister is December 18th, and it's like, you got to send a separate card. And
oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's fair. I understand. Who wants to share a birthday with Jesus? What a bummer.
It should be an honor. It should be an honor, I assume.
How very.
I have one other thing for Daniel Waters. So my brother lives in LA. A while ago, I don't know how long ago, some theater was showing 1, 2, 3, and you did the intro for it.
Oh, yes, I did.
Yeah, he loves Heathers as much as I do. And then he saw you in the bathroom and he almost talked to you, but he chickened out. So he wanted me to tell you he says hi.
Oh, he was the guy staring at me going to the bathroom. I remember that.
I mean, he did describe it as like an awkward moment of eye contact where it was just the two of you and he almost said something and then he felt like the moment passed and he couldn't.
Well, tell him I definitely need my ego fed once a day. You can find the bathroom, you can shop to me.
Even if you're actively urinating.
Well, I think it was at the sink. That was my sense of it. But.
Slip a note under the stall.
I'll do it in Kurt Kelly's handwriting.
You can do it as well as your own. Oh my god. Thank you so much. This has been an absolute blast.
Oh, I'm glad you liked it. I didn't have too many props.
Do you have anything you want to clear up for the record about Batman Returns before we go?
Oh, I didn't tell you. So we're going to do a sequel. We're going to do a Catwoman movie. Just a Catwoman movie. Get rid of the problems of Batman. Unfortunately, Tim and I want to do two different movies. Tim wanted to do a low-budget black and white movie of Selina Kyle coming to a small town and hides Badger's Catwoman, making more a psychological thriller. And I wanted to do the perfect Batman movie that doesn't have Batman in it. I thought it was a fun script. If Gotham City's New York City, I wanted to go to L.A. The Gotham City, L.A., like a hot, nasty place. And it's run by 3 superheroes who are complete fucking assholes. This is before anybody did the asshole superhero.
Yeah.
She wants to lead a quiet life. She works at a casino, and the superheroes are such dicks that she's got to bring out the Catwoman suit. And then she gets all the women in the city to dress up as Catwoman. Gonna have Anne Margaret in it, different cat outfits, fluffy cat outfits. And it's going to be a big climax, and I thought it was good. But
it's never too late.
I want to see that
Let's
movie.
do that. Let's make that movie.
Let's get like Margot Robbie.
You would have liked it. He would have been worthy of a podcast.
Yes, for sure.
At the time, Warner Brothers just wanted the distraction to get Tim away from Batman so they could bring in Joel Schumacher to make it all silly and stupid.
Yeah. I can't believe that's where they went next with it. Instead of leading into the weirdness. It's a huge bummer.
Yeah.
But I guess it wasn't for me. They accidentally made a Batman movie for me, and then they never did it again.
Right.
Yeah, maybe 25 years from now when it's the 40th Batman. I hope I did my sex proud. My gender proud.
You're a credit to your gender.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for writing Heathers and all of it.
When you have somebody come back, make sure that they know the second one.
Right.
Somebody else.
Yes. You're the
I didn't write the
trailblazer.
namesake of your show. So.
No, I know.
Yeah.
There's no one who could follow you. No one
know.
possibly. Thank you so much.
Okay, see ya.
Thank you. If you enjoyed this episode of Paid in Puke, please take a minute to rate us highly on your preferred podcast listening apparatus. If you did not enjoy this episode, no further action is necessary. Paid in Puke is hosted by Annie Malone, Christina Barr, and Jessica Baxter. Music by Silent Partner. Follow us on Twitter at PaidInPukePod, on Instagram at PaidInPukeSeattle, and on Facebook at Paid in Puke Podcast. Thanks for listening.
Life's a bitch. Now so am I.